Page 7. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge by my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge chonam la, chanjo bardo dane gyapso che, dage jinso gebe chonam, lola benjir sanje dubara sho, sanye joda zoge chonam la, chanjo bardo dane gyapso che, dage jinso gebe chonam ge, Tola benjir sanje dubara sho, sanje choda tsoge chonam, chanju bardo dane yapsu che, dage jinso gebe chonam ge, tola benjir sanje dubara sho. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagado yavatat te sham jayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Prabhava hetum te shantathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Teyatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvaha. 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 Okay. Now what we do is that we read from page 214. Page 214, this is a collection of very important passages pertaining to the wisdom of emptiness, particularly with the wisdom of emptiness. And so these are these are actually the compendium. What we have is the compendium of the pieces, very important pieces set by the various masters. And for example, the first one is from the sutra, where the Buddha himself made a comparison between the two bodhisattvas. Say one, the bodhisattva who became bodhisattva, or who generated bodhicitta for so long, like the many lifetimes, and has been bodhisattva for all these many lifetimes. And then, for example, say, then on the other hand, there is one bodhisattva who has newly joined the bodhisattva path, or in other words, generated bodhicitta newly. And then, yet, the first bodhisattva who had been bodhisattva for all these many lifetimes, but does not have the wisdom of emptiness. The only wisdom that he might have is the wisdom to see impermanence, wisdom to see the gross emptiness, and so forth, but not the subtle emptiness. And whereas the second bodhisattva, who just newly they became a bodhisattva, for example, just 2 days ago, or 5 days ago, or 1 month ago, or 1 year ago. So this bodhisattva, on the other hand, has the wisdom of emptiness. So now Buddha, our very compassionate Buddha, is comparing to the two bodhisattvas. And the Buddha said that the bodhisattva who newly joined the bodhisattva path, but with the wisdom of emptiness, when he or she accumulates merit, complemented or tempered by the wisdom of emptiness, the merit that this bodhisattva accumulates is going to be far more in number, more in accumulation, as compared to the bodhisattva who has been into this path for so many lifetimes without the experience of the emptiness. So, with the experience of emptiness, the virtue that you engage in becomes much more powerful. Okay, so this is what the Buddha said. And likewise, and then another point which is very important is that, say, since many lifetimes, since time immemorial till now, we have been engaging all the negative karmas, negative actions, so forth. And of course, this time, fortunately, somehow, one of the positive karmas activated, while there are so many negative karmas within us, accumulated since many lifetimes ago, but because of the activation, for whatever reason, activation of this one particular positive karma, that we take birth as a human being this time, and not only taking birth as a human being on this planet Earth, we see that there are 7 billion human beings. 7 billion human beings, and out of them, how many really get the opportunity to come in contact with the teaching of the Buddha? Number one. Now, having come in contact with the teaching of the Buddha, how many of them really come in contact with the teaching on emptiness and Bodhicitta? 2. Number 3, amongst those people who do come in contact with the teaching on Bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness, how many of them really get the chance to practice it? So from that point of view, we see that it is so rare, No? And we, fortunately, because of the place here, the very holy place, and then the TBC, because of TBC, and then particularly Wenla, who has been so keen on this, he's making sure that somehow this program is happening. In fact, you wouldn't believe how much he put effort. Of course, with the logistics and all these things is one thing, and then, for example, say he's so gentle, but seeing that this is so important, he does not spare me. Right? He does not spare me. You won't believe. Same, he would send me the whole program list, right? And dates, with all the dates, program list. And say, Geshe-la, do you agree with this, or do you approve this, right? And then, okay, this is next year, July. Okay, I have many other things to do. Okay, I'll confirm you later. I send, because he's doing so much for all of us, and then how can I ignore it? So I have to reply, okay, I'll get back to you soon. And then he knows that I'll not get back. So he will not disturb me. He'll not disturb me. Then with his own practice, job, family, then the, say, TBC, all these things, with all these things, again, after about like the 1 month or the 1.5 months, again we'll send him, there's a little modification. Geshe-la, do you agree? Actually, he's saying that, please confirm. Right? Okay. So this way, look how skillfully it's all coming out of now seeing the value of the Bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, and that wanting out of compassion, out of the sense of concern, that this should be something what as many people should learn and practice. So it's all because of Venice efforts. TPC is there, Mr. Jambi is there, the founding director, who has been just the backbone of this whole thing, and Vinila, the president, they're all working so hard for TPC, amazing, selflessly working. And but for this retreat, this comes under the Vinila's, what do you call it? The denomination, portfolio, right? So, and this is what I'm extremely grateful to Venla for that matter. So what I'm saying is that, so by some coincidence, somehow we come in contact with this teaching on Bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness. In fact, I remember, so fondly I remember, His Holiness the Kandinti Rinpoche, the one who recently passed away. Amazing. In fact, I'm very fortunate to be more like, a translator for him for, I think, 3 or 4 years, for his students. And at one point, he just casually, I was very fortunate just to be sitting by him. And then His Holiness Kandinti Rinpoche, then he was I think he was the former abbot of Gyudo Tantric College, and not yet into this position. And then once he told me that, I think last year when we were here, when witnessed that, we were together, right? When you were not there. Oh, when I was not there. Okay. So then I think maybe like 15 years ago, if not 17, like 15 years ago, His Holiness Kandinti Rinpoche, then he just said, Dorji, practice Bodhicitta, practice Bodhicitta. It will surely, you will surely the birth of the Bodhicitta within you. He just reassured that. In fact, I personally could remember that this is such a reassuring thing, and it was such a joy. In fact, all my teachers, they teach about Bodhicitta, they teach about wisdom and emptiness, but I don't remember as clear as what the Venerable His Holiness Kandinti Rinpoche, when he was then, he told me that, oh, that was so reassuring. I was amazing. That really inspired me. And then after like 15 years, last year in Malaysia, there, he was on the verge to be appointed as the next His Holiness Kandinti Rinpoche. He was the His Holiness Shazit Choji Rinpoche. Then we had the honor of having the audience against once in Malaysia. And then, because that, I felt so close to him, pertaining to the wisdom of the pertaining Bodhicitta, and then having had the honor of his more like a personal translator for some years. So I just casually reminded His Holiness Shabbat Rinpoche that 15, 16 years ago, I remember Your Holiness Shabbat Rinpoche once, me as a very, say, a student there, you very kindly gave me the kind of reassurance that you should practice Bodhicitta. You should practice Bodhicitta. Practice it, and you'll surely you'll see this. You'll see the birth of it within you. Surely it will take birth in you. So this kind of assurance, it was so moving, and I'm so thankful to you for this. It is for this reason that somehow it is the auspiciousness from that, the seed planted by you. Of course, I received teachings on Bodhicitta from all my other teachers as well, but the seed planted by you, reassuring that it will take birth in you because of this. So now, although my practice is so small, so less, but it remains so close to my heart, the practice of Bodhicitta. And then, say, the teaching on Bodhicitta retreat. Now, perhaps this is the 8th in series, Bodhicitta retreat, 8th in series, starting from 2012. And 8th or 9th. And this is all happening because of the auspicious seed planted by Your Holiness Shabbat Rinpoche. And then both of us moved into tears out of this. Okay, so this is so auspicious. So with this, what I'm saying is that so we are very fortunate to have, to be together in this very holy place, Lama Selingpa, and some of you reported to me that there in the Mora Jambi, and what your experiences are. Some of you had a very auspicious experiences. These are so very precious. These are all the indications. Somehow, no doubt, somehow we are all connected with Lama Selingpa, whether directly or indirectly in our past lives, because the fact that we are together here, and our whole mind is to revive as a kind of to reassure Lama Selingpa that we are your lineage holders. So with this, no doubt we are all connected with him, and that what for we come here is for the Bodhicitta retreat. And in what way we were connected to Lama Selingpa is because his tradition, which he inherited from Buddha Shakyamuni. So he was like the link from whom finally we inherit all these teachings from His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all other teachers. Okay. So with this, the point is that from this point of view, we are all very fortunate. At the same time, we have to admit that since time immemorial till now, no doubt we have accumulated so much of negative karmas. Now, the sutra here, one of the sutras, sutra section of subduing the devils. So this sutra, the Buddha was so affectionately, so kindly informing us or teaching us that with the wisdom of emptiness, if you get a glimpse of the wisdom of emptiness, if you get a glimpse of what emptiness is, and then, of course, on top of what happens on the physiological level, so it cleanses our negative karmas so much. To the extent that the negative karmas, however severe, to the extent of, say, the negative karmas known as the four boundless or the tsemeshi, for, say, I don't know what English translation would that be like, say, immeasurable negativities. In Tibetan it is tsemeshi, but in English many translations are the immeasurable. So immeasurable negativities, which means that unimaginable negativities, the worst of the negativities. 4. So then the Buddha reassures us that even if we have accumulated such immeasurable negativities, but if you get a glimpse of what emptiness is, this will cleanse all these negativities and make the negativities, immeasurable negativities, dysfunctional. Right? This is so precious, the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so with this, we are going to read, likewise, we're going to read the many more stanzas collection, and as we read, see how much we can imbibe the meaning, and to the best we can. Now we have today and tomorrow. We're not today and tomorrow, just 2 days. 3 days. Okay, 3 days, right? Today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. Yes, day after tomorrow. Yes, we have 3 days. Okay, so to the best I can, we will try to explain some of the important passages here, right? So meanwhile, before I forget it, let me share with you that this collection, the page from page 214 through to page 221, page 214 through to page 221. So this, see if you can read with your mind flowing in the meanings as often as possible. I'm not going to make it as a commitment as often as possible, but at least if you can make it a promise to read it once a month. Once a month easy? Once a month is easy, right? Okay, let me hear this good news that yes, I'm reading once a month, right? Otherwise, sometimes it gets delayed for like 6 months, right? Okay. Or when you're doing the weekends when you're holiday, then read them, and particularly make sure that your mind really flows in the meanings of these. These are so precious, so precious. Okay. So with this, let us slowly read them together. Given by the Arya Satpurush Sutra, Precious Chant Sutra, Manjushri, whoever listens even with doubt to this teaching on emptiness, generates much greater merit than a bodhisattva who, lacking skill in means, practices the 6 perfections for 100,000 eons. This being so, what need is there to say anything about a person who listens to this teaching without doubt? There to say anything about a person who imparts the scripture in writing, memorizes it, and also teaches it thoroughly and extensively to others. Arya Tathagata Garbha Nama Sutra, the treasury of the one thus called Sutra. Any person who, possessing all these 10 great non-virtues, enters into the teaching of selflessness and has faith and conviction that all phenomena are from the beginning pure of the true existence, does not go to a bad rebirth. Section on Subduing Devils Sutra. If any bhikshu realizes all phenomena are absolutely passive out of intrinsic existence, and the beginning of defilements is devoid of self-nature, it removes the guilt of having defilements and make unstable the defilements, thus deeming even the immeasurable negativity is dysfunctional, let alone the secondary wrongs done associated with ethics and rituals. Arya Devas Chatu Sadaka Shastra Namakarika, 400 verse. Okay, so this is very important. So it says that even to have some kind of inquiry, inquisitiveness. Oh, what is emptiness? Oh, I went to attend the teaching of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and His Holiness was speaking a lot about emptiness. What is emptiness? It's quite an interesting topic. So even to have such inquiry, inquisitiveness, even that is so precious, to the extent that this will serve as a cause to shatter our samsara into pieces. So this is, and then if somebody, by listening to the teachings of His Holiness or teaching of anyone on emptiness, oh, what is this emptiness? It doesn't really make any sense. If your mind is more towards this, which means that the person is of little less merit. Yeah? So you have to study more, you have to accumulate more merit, and then slowly even less merit is also dependent originated. Even that is dependent originated, but depends on other factors. Now the factors of which are responsible for making a less meritorious, dilute those factors and replace with good factors. Then we become meritorious. And then, say we learn about emptiness come to us, and the emptiness is not something which have to be based on faith. Emptiness is not at all to be based on faith. You just mechanically do it. Even though you do it mechanically, you'll get somewhere and you'll see the amazement, the wonder of the experience of emptiness. And then you will gain the confidence. You become so fearless that, okay, now this is real dharma. Without this, all others, okay, they are so good to be kind, to be compassionate, okay, to be self-restrained, and this is very good. But without this, then everything is like doing good things in the dream. Doing good things to dream and not waking up from the dream, right? So doing good in the dream, if you meet someone and then you talk nicely, the other person also talk nicely to you in the dream also, right? Generally speaking. So that is nice. Whereas if you talk badly, the other person also shout at you and then you become irritated in the dream. So all this is happening in the dream. So say by all the other practices, without the wisdom of emptiness, it becomes like doing good things in the dream. And then still you are under the sway, you are under the spell of seeing everything as objectively real, seeing the dream as real, right? So that is what traps us in samsara. So if you really don't want to be in samsara, just wake up from the sleep. Continue to do good things. This is so precious. Doing good things, this will drive you towards wisdom of emptiness. And just ignoring, just neglecting doing the good things will never turn towards emptiness, right? So continue to be kind with others. Continue to, have a sense of patience, resilience, and then say sense of contentment. Continue to practice the 10 perfections, 6 perfections. Continue to practice those things, and then meanwhile, the more you practice these things, the more enthusiastic you will become to practice the wisdom of emptiness. This is the link, this connection. Okay. So, but without the wisdom of emptiness, then all other practices, they're very good. They're very good, still within the confinement of samsara. As we learn from Saint Saraha's stanza, which we are going to read here, which we read already earlier once. You remember that? With compassion, but without the wisdom of emptiness, you will never achieve freedom from samsara. With the wisdom of emptiness, but without compassion, you will never achieve the supreme path, which is the Buddhahood, right? Only when you have the combination of the two, the wisdom of emptiness and compassion, only then you can achieve the state of you will be free from samsara, the pain of samsara, you will be free from the personal liberation and achieve the final liberation, which is Buddhahood. Okay, so we will read this, page 215, the first stanza by Aradeva. Okay, those with less merit will not even have a doubt in this dharma of ultimate reality. Should a doubt ever arise in someone, it will shatter samsara into pieces. Acharya Chandrakirti's Madhyamika Avatara, entry into the middle way. Even as an ordinary being, when hearing about emptiness, if one experiences with an utter joy, again and again, tears flowing from such pure joy moisten one's eyes, and one's hair stands on end, one has the seed of the wisdom of full awakening. Upadi Pari Prachana Nama Mahana Sutra. Upadi requested Sutra. The various delightful flowers blossom, and the sparkling supreme golden apples stand so alluring. For none of these is their creator, they are posited by the power of the thought. It is through conceptualization that the world is imputed. Bhikkhuni Vajira's utterance and the fundamental wisdom of the vehicle of Sutra. The mind is demonic, which views the true self. You have a wrong view. These composite aggregates are empty. There is no being in them. Just as one designates a card in dependence upon a collection of parts, so we assert a conventional sentient being in dependence upon the aggregates. An extract from Venerable Shavara's writings. Okay, this is, we can get somewhere, we can understand something with this part. It is like everything is in this convention room. The moment you peep out, you will not see the center, you will not see the periphery. In the outside, nothing is there. Center, periphery of the space, everything is empty. Okay, let's read. Searching for reality throughout space, one finds not the periphery and the center. All perception cease completely. Likewise, through a thorough search of mind and phenomena, one finds not even an atom of essence. Since the searching mind is not found, not seeing anything is seeing the reality. Okay, not seeing anything is seeing the reality. When you peep out, what did you see? I didn't see anything. What have you discovered? I discovered that in that domain nothing exists. In the ultimate domain, nothing exists. This is what we discovered. That is ultimate truth, right? You're getting it? Okay, let's read this once more. So you may enjoy this, I know. Okay. Searching for reality throughout space, one finds not the periphery and the center. All perception cease completely. Likewise, through a thorough search of mind and phenomena, one finds not even an atom of essence. Since the searching mind is not found, nor seeing anything is seeing the reality. An extract from Saint Sarah's writings. By entering into emptiness, but devoid of compassion, path. At the same time, by meditating upon compassion alone, will not attain liberation, but remain in samsara. Whosoever is capable of grasping the unity of the two will not remain in samsara, nor abide in personal nirvana. Samadhi Raja Sudha. This is so important. This is so important. Okay. Let's say all the events in a life, right? They are all the fluctuations of happiness and miseries, Do you agree with me? All the fluctuations of happiness and miseries. So this, the Buddha Shakyamuni, is so beautifully encapsulated with one analogy, with one metaphor. So the metaphor is, say a young girl, very young girl, or a young boy. It's not just always a girl, it's always a boy also, right? Same, a young girl, say very young, and who is so excited about the opposite gender, right? Opposite gender. So in the dream, she meets the opposite gender. So meeting with the opposite gender was a great excitement. So this is symbolic. This is symbolic of all the excitements that we have in our life. One. Then, say, in the dream, you have a chat, right? You have a chat, you go to a restaurant, have a cup of tea together, or whatever, or coffee together, or a juice, Coca-Cola together. And then, maybe after about like 1 hour, then you're about to leave, and the boy starts to cough, like this. And then suddenly the blood comes out of that and collapse and died, right? And for the girl, this is a whole episode of the whole world has collapsed. The whole world has collapsed. The whole world seems to be so gloomy, meaningless, right? Okay. So this resembles, this is symbolic, this is metaphorical of all the miseries which we go through, in our life. So ups and downs, right? So all these are happening where? The girl was still in the bed sleeping. And then when the mother could see that the tears rolling down the girl's in the sleep, the mother thought that she might be going through a nightmare. The mother instantly wakes up. Then what is your response? What is the emotional response? Wow, what a relief. Meeting with the boy was illusion, and seeing the death of this boy is also illusion. I'm literally freed from the emotion of attachment, aversion. So that is freedom. You wake up and that is the greatest freedom. Okay, so otherwise in the dream, then somebody comes, tell the girl, oh, don't worry, it's fine, he should be all right, we'll take him to hospital. Somebody consoles the girl, and then you are a little consoled, but it's all still in the spell, still within the spell of the dream. Still you are not awakened. Still the dream can play on you. Again, the dream can create a nice thing, the boy recovers, right? And you again meet there, again go to another restaurant, again have the same kind of exchange, and again the blood comes out like this. All the episodes play over and over and over again. It's so tiring, so exhausting, right? Wake up, just end. Full stop. All the miseries, tensions, just stop. Realize emptiness, full stop, samsara comes to an end. Okay, so let's read this once more. Let's read this. Samadhi Raja Sutra, King of Concentration Sutra. Just as in the dream of a young girl, she met with a boy and saw his death. Joyous was she at the meeting and in anguish at his birth. View all phenomena as thus. Okay. Arinigarjuna's Mudamatimikariga fundamental wisdom the middle way. Through ceasing common afflictions, nirvana is distorted conceptions. These arise from elaborations of grasping a true existence. Elaboration cease by or into emptiness. Neither the aggregates nor different from the aggregates. The aggregates don't depend on him, nor is he dependent on them. The Tathagata does not possess the aggregates. What is the Tathagata? That which dependent originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being dependently designated, this is the middle way. Since there is no phenomenon that is not dependent originated, therefore there is no phenomenon that is not empty. Aranikarjuna Sratnamara, precious garden. If the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not also consciousness, not all of them, where is the person out of those? Just as a person is not truly existent because of being an aggregation of the six constituents, so each constituent also is not truly existent as the aggregations of their own constituents. Okay. Arinikarjuna's Bodhicitta Vivarana, commentary on Bodhicitta. Those who understand this emptiness of all phenomena, yet also conform to the law of karma and its results, that is more amazing than amazing, that is more wondrous than wondrous. Aridevas Chatusataka Shastra Namakarika, 400 verses. When dependent arising is seen, thus through all efforts strive to find this subject. Okay, guide in the view, the four mindfulness of wisdom. Okay, this is very helpful. So now imagine that you have seen emptiness. Imagine that all what you're seeing is just coming, you realize that they're all coming from mind, from the object, everything is just empty. So with this then, what happens? Say when you go out, you hear the music, you hear the cars, traffic sound, and then you hear people shouting at you, you hear people, talking nice to you, and you hear the beautiful pond here, right? And the beautiful sunshine, and you then say taste good food, right? Then you smell the scents, okay, all these things, nothing really. Imagine that now you realize that nothing really is there objectively. So it's the same object, but through seeing what is ultimately there, you see that the flower is empty. Likewise, you see everything is empty. While you realize everything is empty, when you go out, again all your six senses, they function. 5 physical senses and the mental sense, they all function. The eyes will continue to see beautiful things, unattractive things. The nose will continue to smell bad things. The sense smell, the ears, then the body, then the mind can think of bad things, think of good things. All these continue to appear to mind. So here then, the 7th Dalai Lama advised us to think of being at a crossroad, on a crossroad where the cross section of the 4 or 5 roads, and you are just at the crossroad there. So there, what happens? You will see all different cars, all different people, right? And various music, some selling small things, some selling big things. Okay, you see so many different kinds. In fact, I don't know what's the norm there in Singapore. It may be very unusual. Someone sitting there on the crossroads may be so unusual. Whereas in the remote places, it's not really a bad idea to go there and sit at the crossroads so that you enjoy all these different people coming. In fact, one of my relatives, one of my uncles, he's so keen that if you don't see him, if he disappeared from the house, you go to the crossroad, you'll find him there. Yeah, he's just with his 2 hands behind, and then he's just enjoying. Yeah. He's no more with us now, he passed away. Okay, so at the crossroad, you're bound to see perceive all these different things, the visual, the audio, gustatory, then the olfactory, then the tactility, then the mental. So these, after knowing what emptiness is, we should be mindful that nothing of this has essence from its own side. Nothing. It's all coming from your mind. Like your mind is like the projector, projecting these things. From there, it's all nothing. While from the object nothing is there, still from the object appears. Although your mind may not assent. Your mind may not approve the appearance, but on the appearance level, it continues to appear as objectively real because of cognitive obscuration, right? Things continue to appear as objectively real. They appear like this, but they don't exist like this. So, how do you describe illusion? How do you describe something as illusion, magical illusion? You see something there, but you know that it is not there. Something appears to your mind, the magician conjures, magician creates the illusion. And you look at it, wow, it's a beautiful, say, flower, it's a beautiful elephant, like this. But you know that they don't exist there. It's just magical illusion. You're deceiving, magician deceiving your eyes, and then you are seeing all these things. You getting it? Okay. With this, the seventh Dalai Lama reminds us to be mindful of this fact, that when you, with your six senses, when you out of the meditation, when you interact with the world, you are as though like you are at the crossroad. Six different roads crossing each other. Right? What are the six different roads? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Right? These are crossroads, all cross at you. So you are standing there at the crossroads of the six different roads, and then you are bound to see all different things. Be mindful that they are all like magical illusion. Just magical illusion is coming from your deceptive mind. They're all like magical illusion. There's nothing really there from the object. There's nothing really there. It's just a hazy, dualistic coming from your mind. You see them as so objective. Hazy dualistic appearances. They're all just illusion. Be mindful of that. This is very powerful. Okay, so when not just you, me including myself, when we have some understanding of emptiness, particularly in the meditation, okay, now I tend to forget things quite easily. I like to remind you one thing. While I remember, I like to share with you them. Okay, very, very important. See how much you can do that on a daily basis. On top of the Vajrayana practice, see how much you can, say, spend like minimum 3-4 minutes a day before you go to bed. 3-4 minutes a day, if possible, 5 minutes. If not, 3-4 minutes is fine. Because emptiness for all object, emptiness itself is so difficult to get it. Right? And meditating 3 minutes is like 3 years. Yeah, meditating 3 minutes is like 3 years. Right? When the topic is very complicated, it makes you even longer. Right? So 3 minutes you think that, oh, I've done a lot. Actually it's 3 minutes. Right? So see if you can spend like 3. Okay, let's say minimum 3 minutes. Then depending on your time, depending on yourself, say 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay, depending. Don't be over ambitious initially. Make like 3 to 5 minutes initially. 3 to 5 minutes. And be consistent. That is more important. Initially, be consistent. Be consistent initially. Be consistent. And then even if you don't get something, don't worry too much. Right? Just spend 3 minutes. Okay, so how we go about doing that? We already did that, but we will redo this again today, right? So basic 2 questions. What are the 2 questions? What am I seeing? 1, I'm seeing the atoms. I'm seeing the 6 aggregates, right? 1. Number 2, where is this person or where is this flower? It disappears. It is empty. Okay, we should work on these 2 things. As long as you can work on these 2 things, as a prerequisite, as a preliminary, before the two questions, you ask yourself, what am I doing, right? I'm meditating. And what is in front of you? A flower, right? So one of these two, or any other thing, right? So whatever emptiness you like to meditate on. So this object, whether emptiness of yourself, emptiness of the flower, emptiness of your mind, or emptiness of your mother, or emptiness of your child, or emptiness of your father, or whatever. So that object, first ask, what is that? What am I doing? If it is you, I am sitting, I'm meditating. Okay. What is in front of me? If it is the flower, then what is in front of me is the flower, right? Same, if it is your mother, let's say, okay, where's my mother? She's there, right? She's there. Okay, so this is how we should begin. Then the actual meditation for the actual thing, the two things, the two questions, right? You go into the, let's say for the persons, you go into these 6 elements, or you go into the 5 aggregates or 6 elements, right? And for the flowers, inanimate objects, you go into the atoms. You getting it? You go into the atoms, and then ask yourself the 2 questions. First question: where's the flower? Answer: no. What's the first question? What am I seeing? Right? First question. Then say, I'm seeing millions of atoms. Okay. Don't forget the appearance of the flower you had before. You said, where's the flower? It's here. Just imagine. Imagine, if possible, there should be a flower next to you. If possible, there should be a flower next to you. And look at it very carefully. Where's the flower? It's there. Look at the flower very carefully. Look at the flower very carefully. And oftentimes it is also it will be very helpful. The flowers which are exceptionally beautiful. Right? Exceptionally beautiful flowers. For example, orchid flowers, rose flowers. Right? Okay. Okay, particularly the freshly blossomed flowers. Just today, blossom today. The color, texture, they're so perfect. As though like they're so intrinsically real. So objectively real, right? And then that would be very helpful. Okay, so that, with this, don't forget the appearance of the flower, which is nothing other than appearance of the objectively existent flower. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And then when you say, what are you seeing now? The 2 questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing millions of atoms. Okay. What is the second question? Where is the flower? The flower is empty. Why are we able to say the flower is empty? Because you know what the flower looked like. Because you already asked it before. Where's the flower? It is there. You've already seen that before you asked the 2 questions. Is there so tender, so beautiful? Don't forget that appearance. Then now compare this flower and the atoms, right? The flower which you earlier and the atoms. In the atoms, what you saw earlier as a very beautiful flower, it's totally absent there, it is totally missing. Where's the flower? It disappears, it is empty, right? And stay in this experience for a while. Stay in there, stay in this experience. And at times, some people could have a tinge of fear. Some people could have a tinge of bliss. Some people could have a tinge of peace. Different experiences arise depending on your propensities, the inclinations and so forth. So if any of these feelings arise, you are very fortunate. Particularly if you have a tinge of fear, you are very fortunate. Don't give up. Some people, because there's a tinge of fear, the person doesn't want to experience it. It's very scary. Then they don't want to meditate. Right? So, unless it is overwhelmingly scary, if you can bear it, continue to practice. Continue to practice. Slowly, this fear will be replaced by a tremendous peace. this fear will be replaced by a tremendous peace which we have never experienced before, right? Whereas if it is overwhelmingly scary, overwhelming, once, twice, three times, then it's very important to discuss with people who have meditated on emptiness, and particularly more experienced ones. It's very important, right? Okay. In this connection, when I said that see if you can meditate for like 3 or 5 minutes on emptiness before you go to bed. Somebody reported to me. I think somebody who had been practicing the Vajra Moon practice and emptiness practice for not for too long, maybe I think like 2 years. 2 years. Recently, I received an email from a very far away place, saying that recently, for like last through 2 or 3 months, she had been exceptionally doing the practice on the emptiness in the night before she goes to bed, and then suddenly she had the health issue coming up, where she could not sleep. She would not have sleep, so. Then I told her, just see if you the same diet and all these things one should be taken care of, and then before you go to bed, make sure that you don't drink coffee. These are very important, right? And then if it still persists, then I told her to do it in the morning rather than the evening. So generally, of course, the morning there's one session, Vajra Moon practice, whole practice is there, right? And even 5 minutes you can do Vajra Moon practice. You learn that. No, it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, less than 5 minutes, sorry, right? Okay, so there is that practice. Then evening, before you go to bed, 3 to 5 minutes, do it. And in case if you have some problems which cannot be solved, unless you have to take medicine, before you take medicine, write to me, right? Okay, because we can do something because it is not that what I'm sharing with you is something very general, and people individuals they differ from an individual to individual. So therefore, things should be thought of with the individual person as well, in a contextual way. Okay, so if something of this kind happens, then just let me know. Otherwise, make sure that you practice 2 to 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes every day before you go to bed. This is so precious. No, morning you are doing Vajra Moon practice, Vajra. Oh, emptiness, Vajra is the emptiness. Same, Vajra is with the Vajra practice. What are you saying? What are you doing? Where is empty? Where is the flower? All these things happen in Vajra. It's a part of Vajra. Exactly, there's no difference. It's the same, identical. So what do we do in the evening is a very short form. It's a very short form. And then you may be asking, to avoid the complication, you may ask me, how should I do it in 2 minutes? This is your question. So I'll give it right away. Right? This is a short form of doing it. Otherwise, everything is there in the Vajra practice. Right? Okay. Whereas if you want to repeat the Vajra practice altogether, it'll take 5 minutes or a little over that. Then, in which case, this is even better. But oftentimes when we become very tired, evenings, we all are very tired after the long hours of job, long hours of work. Because of which, when you're very tired, when you meditate emptiness, even the emptiness come to your mind, it's going to be much, much vague. Not as clear as what would otherwise happen in the mornings. Right? Okay. This is going to be much vague. But don't worry. Still do it. Because after this, what do? You go to sleep. You go to sleep means you lose control of our mind. Right? Likewise, at time of death. At time of death, if you make this as a habit, at the time of death, the moment our mind goes into coma, then they die, the mind separates. So there, it is very similar to when you go to bed, when you go to sleep. It's a very similar experience. So you meditate emptiness and then you go to bed. This influence, this what you call the vibe or the influence of the emptiness experience. With this experience, then you fall asleep. Right? So it will become a habit. So when it becomes a habit, then when you die, what happens? Going to sleep, the mind dissolves. The gross mind dissolves. So a similar pattern is happening at the time of death. The mind dissolves at the time of death. So the moment the mind dissolves, you have already built a habit. Instantly the thought goes into emptiness. So that will stop the interruption of this process by the negative thoughts. Because the negative thoughts are grounded on self-grasping ignorance. With the wisdom of emptiness, the self-grasping ignorance cannot come. When the self-grasping ignorance is not there, then the negative thoughts are all the start. So that way, the flow, your mind being absorbed and then taking the next journey is going to be very positive. So you will take human birth, precious human birth, or if some people want to go to pure land, you can also go to pure land, right? Okay, so this is the idea. That is very precious. Yes.
Just to clarify, when we meditate. Sorry, Geshe-la, because I'm not familiar with this. So when we meditate on the emptiness on the flower, so we're seeing millions of atoms. So within that image in our mind, are we going through an analysis of looking for the flower within the atoms, or we abide in that experience of seeing atoms only, or still continuing to go within the meditation?
Okay, so this is a good point. So once you reach to the level of atoms, this is where we already have taken for granted that we already went through the earlier processes. First the flower, then you zoom in, you see the cells, you zoom in, you see the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, the nucleus, you zoom in, within the nucleus you see the chromosomes, you zoom in, you see the molecules, you zoom in, you see the atoms. So this process we've already taken for granted. So whereas it is good for us to go through this process. In fact, I personally, usually it is not advisable to be sharing once what you've been doing, but for you I'll be happy to share this because some of you may be inspired. Okay, if he's doing, then he's not only talking, he's also doing, right? We will also have to do, it's not just sitting and attending what? Jambi retreat, right? Not just attending Jambi retreat is not sufficient, but to do something. Okay, right? Okay, just to let you know, for example, say last night I was really tired, and then the end emptiness practice, which I always do, I could not do that. Then I went to bed early. Then in the morning I got up before, and then was doing the practice, doing what was left from last night, exclusive to emptiness, and there's something else which is confidential. Okay, so that part, but the emptiness part, because I'm sharing with you emptiness, so this I don't mind sharing with you emptiness. The other part is confidential. Okay, so the emptiness part I was doing, right? The morning I was doing. So what I'm saying is that, even in these things which I do always, still I follow all these steps. I know the steps, but knowing the steps and jump to the last step directly, it will not help us. Finally, it is not that whether you know or not, this is not the point. The point is that we should have the effect being felt. There should be imprint, there should be the imprint left on a mind to transform our emotion, right? That is important. For which the steps are very important. Say, for example, if I think of the flower, right? So, I don't know if I get time. If I'll get time, then we'll go through, one set of manual, just one sample of a manual as to how you would do if you get 40 minutes to 1 hour, right? Initially, later on, the same practice you can do within 20 minutes quite effectively. Initially, if you do the complete manual, It may take you about like 40 minutes to like 1 hour as a beginner. And later on, within like 20 minutes, it should be covered pretty well. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I've been doing this practice for so long, and still I follow all the steps. For example, when I do the same, the first thing that I do is, for example, say for your information, page 215, we already read this, the last stanza. The last stanza, I begin with this stanza. And in Tibetan, of course I don't read in English. I say this in Tibetan. Right? Now I'm really in problem. Because what I all learned in Tibetan and what I all share with is in English. Now in my thoughts, sometimes English is going, right? Some English, even the thought process, they are in English. May not be proper English, my own English. Right? Okay. So what I'm saying is that these stanzas I don't say in English. We have this in Tibetan. I say this in Tibetan. Okay. In Tibetan, not so yiga mendo khajishin sergi khanjo barwa yongwa. Tenam tela chebo kamende tela tobe wongi shabain. This is the Tibetan version. So I say this. So the word reads, the various delightful flowers blossom. It begin with flower. Right? It means this is a sutra. Because this is a sutra, it is always auspicious to begin with the sutra, because sutra is the direct words of the Buddha, and Buddha is the final authority. In this, always it is auspicious to begin with the sutra. So this is how I begin my meditation emptiness, with the sutra recitation. I recite this, and then I imagine myself as going into the beautiful garden, and then seeing the beautiful flowers, and then particularly I go to pick up one particular flower which is so freshly blossomed, with the color, shape, everything so tender and perfect. I just imagine that I go there and see it. And in order to have some basis for this imagination, in real life, when you see the very beautiful flowers, you can go there and actually literally see this, right? For example, once I was in Manali retreat, and so the place was on the first first floor. No, first story. The first story, and then there was a ground floor. The first floor. The ground floor was there, and from where I was sitting during my break time, I was just peeping through, not through the ultimate. Right? Peeping through, just down there was the small garden. Peeping through. One day, my eyes caught sight of an extremely beautiful pair of flowers. Extremely beautiful, so beautiful, right? And the color, the texture, and freshly blossomed. And then this sutra came to my mind, right? And then, to make the sutra so living, so alive, instantly I went down. I went down to actually go there, to see objectively whether something is there, to go there, and was just watching it so carefully. What is that line, the color combination, the texture, the patterns, just watching it so carefully, and not forgetting it. And then I go back. Then in the night, before I do my practice, when I said this, I remember that. And then I go into this. And the reality, what we are doing is not an imagination. What we are doing is not imagination. It's a reality that we are bringing to a concept, we are bringing to a mind, that this, how beautiful this flower is, it is made of millions of cells, 100%. And these cells, however solid it may seem a cell, one particular cell is made of cell membrane and the nucleus and the cytoplasm, 100%. And this nucleus, it seems as one entity, but inside you will see that there are numerous chromosomes. There's also 100%. It's not just a pure imagination. It's a reality that you are bringing to your mind now. And these chromosomes, however a specific shape that you may see, as the snake-like shape, brownish color, whatever. But no doubt, this is made of innumerable molecules, and the molecules, no doubt, they are made of number of atoms. So now you go to this level. What are you seeing now? I'm just seeing millions of atoms. So this is how we go to that step. This is how I do every day. Go there, and then you can still go beyond, but there's no point, because the purpose is accomplished. When you see just on the atomic level, now tell me, where is this beautiful flower? Beautiful, tender, textured, well-patterned flower, where is it? It disappears. It is empty. Is it that my mind is fabricating, or is a fact? It's a fact. It's a fact that I'm discovering, right? It's a fact. Stay there, and that the flower disappears. Stay there for a while, right? Okay, this is how we're doing, right? This is how we're doing. And then, say you can make it even more elaborative, if you want. Then you can come out of it. Again, you see the flower. Again, you go back, the flower disappears. Flower comes, flower disappears. Flower comes, flower is empty. Flower comes, flower is empty. There's constant change happening. But on the object level, there's no change. Object remains static. For example, like this one, just keep it there. It remains static. Say, for example, this one. Don't even touch it. It remains static. The object remains static, but the perception changes all the time. The flower comes, empty, comes, disappears, comes, disappears. Constant change is happening where? On the perception level. So whatever involves in this perception should be subjective. So the flower is a part of this perception. A flower, because it comes and goes. There's a part of perception, part of the change. Comes, goes. That is a part of change. What is the change is only on the subjective level, not on the object. So whatever involves that change is purely subjective. So this flower, what we are seeing, is in actuality nothing really there. It's just your subjective imputation. That's it. Okay. So with this, and then then we can add a little bit. Sometimes that, say, this flower, if you see, right, there's a particular, the color pattern there, the red and a little bit of greenish, and again a red. And this petal, the red, and then slowly, gradually, there's a gradient turning towards yellow. You're seeing this? Right, gradually turning towards yellow. Okay, so this makes it so beautiful. It makes it something special. It's a very beautiful flower. So now, if you look at this, if you zoom in, you see that there are molecules, there are atoms which are yellow, there are atoms which are red, and in fact, on the level of the atoms, there's no color. On the level of the atoms, there's no color actually, right? Color is simply the reflection of the light by these atoms, right? So this red one, atoms they reflect the red color which falls on it from the sunlight, right? So red color is reflected. Atom per se does not have a color. So red, blue, these are all just the lights that fell on it, and the atoms which constitute the flower, they themselves do not really color. Okay, so now the point is, we have to meditate on emptiness every day before we go to bed. What did I say? What did you say? Meditate on emptiness before you. And was I very assertive, or I was very gently saying this? How do you know that I was assertive? With the fingers, with the finger, right? With the finger. Okay, let's see. And you think that, oh, he's a little assertive. Usually he's, calm, but today he's very assertive. Okay, so what is that made you feel that I'm really assertive with this finger, right? If you think of this finger is made of millions of atoms, right? And then when I say, hey, you have to marry it, millions of fingers, they go, millions of atoms, they go like this, they come back. They go like this, they come back. There's no finger, where's the finger? You see this as a finger, right? And you see this as a flower. Actually, it's the same. Means the atoms going there as a flower, means the atoms coming back. And amongst the atoms which constitute this flower and atoms which constitute my finger, they are much more similar. Particularly on the level of electrons, protons, it's identical. There's no difference. And when you say, so this bunch of the this bunch of the atoms, this bunch of the atoms, right? This one atoms, the millions of atoms, they go like this, come back, go back, come back, and you see this as, oh, he's very assertive. His finger going like this. Actually, what is finger? It's just a millions of atoms, right? And some of the atoms, they may be configured in one form and they are seen as nail. Some atoms, they are configured in particular way, and these we see as a nail. And others, they are in a different way, these we see as the flesh. And then still others, they are configured in another way, these are seen as the lines of the finger, right? Actually, nothing is really there as a finger, nothing is really there as a hand, right? Okay, how many of you had bread and toast this morning? You had toast, right? And the toast was actually, it was a solid bread. And then, how did you get it into pieces? You got pieces? You cut it or somebody? A slice. So how did you, it came in slices. So, when you first cooked in a slice? No. So who cut that? The waiter or the bakery, right? The slice. Okay, we said that the bakery cut the bread into 2 slices. Actually, where is the cutting? There's no actually cutting. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama goes there, and so many people crowded there, right? And then the bodyguards, what they do, they split the people, right? They pave the way to His Holiness the Dalai Lama by making road, right? Pushing the people aside. And then His Holiness goes through. So likewise, the bread atoms, the collection of the atoms as the knife. Knife is also not really knife, it's just a collection of atoms. Group of collection atoms, they go in there and push all the other atoms there on the bread, push others. And then this group of the alien atoms, they go in there, right? And this, our ordinary poor naked eyes, they see as a cutting. Actually, there's no cutting at all. Even the knife did not touch the bread also. Because the atoms, they don't touch each other, right? It simply splits atoms separately, separate the atoms, right? We don't cut the people. When His Holiness goes there, people don't cut, right? We simply push them aside. Likewise, the bread, we see them as cutting. Actually, is the alien atoms. They are trying to split the atoms of the bread. Hey, pave way to this alien group of the atoms. So this is how we see as cutting. Actually, there's no cutting. Actually, right? And then, actually, cutting happens because when we cut, the blood comes out. Because you split these things, split the atoms of the skin apart, then it paves a space there. From the space, then the blood gets the chance to get out. It's not that somebody's cut. It's simply a space is created. Because the atoms, they are pushed aside by the atom of the knife or the blade or whatever, and then the blood comes out with that. It causes space to come out. Otherwise, the space between the holes, the hair pores in these things, they are too tiny that the blood cannot escape. Right? So therefore, where is cutting? All these things are just like illusions. Okay, so now the thing is that yet, don't forget, we speak about the harmony of the 2 truths. We speak about the harmony of the 2 truths. Don't forget the 2 questions, if you could remember. Okay. Are we cutting the bread? Hey, the first question, are we cutting the bread? Morning, right? Yes, we are cutting the bread. Start from there. Don't start from emptiness. Start from the first question, are we cutting the bread? Or the bakery, is he cutting the bread? What is the answer? Yes, number one. Number two, is he objectively cutting the bread? Answer is no, right? So the answer that you get for the first question is the conventional truth, and the answer that you get for the second question is the ultimate truth. You're getting it? Right? There's no contradiction between the answers, between the two answers for the first question and the second question. There's no contradiction, right? The two answers, the answers are not answers to the one question. These are answers to the two different questions, right? So therefore, there is no contradiction. Not only no contradiction, there is a compatibility there. Compatibility there. Okay, the compatibility meaning, say, by dependence, for example, say, bread cutting, by dependence on the bunch of atoms from outside coming there, which are configured in a more compact way, which made them to appear as knife. Compact way, when they go into the atoms of the bread, then the bread atoms, they're configured in a more soft way, right? In a more loose way, because of which the one coming from the outside, they split the atoms of the bread. They did not cut. They split the atoms of the bread, right? And then the one coming from the outside, that simply went through easily. So ordinary eyes see that as a knife cutting the bread. You're getting it? Okay. Now, what is that knife which we see as a knife? This is a bunch of atoms which are configured in a compact way. What is the bread? Bread is a bunch of the atoms which are configured in a loose way. What is the cutting? The ones in a more compact way. So they try to go in and then split the ones in a loose form to split into two easily, and then they all went in. That is known as the cutting. By dependence, now look, by dependence on these factors, one, the bunch of the atoms in a more compact configuration, by dependence on that, and by dependence on the collection of the atoms in a more loose way, in a more loose the configuration, by dependence on these two things, when they come together, the first one will split the second into two. But depends on this, then to the eyes of the ordinary person, the knife cutting the bread is originated. Dependent origination. Right? By dependence on the bunch of, okay, let me say this again, dependent origination. By dependence on the bunch of the atoms which are put in a compact configuration, when they go towards the bunch of the atoms configured in a more loose form, they go there, they split. The ones put in a loose form to split into two, right? It is not cut. It's simply they separated the atoms, the ones in the loose configuration, to separate into two parts. But depends on these three things. One, the bunch of the atoms are configured in a compact form, and by dependence on the atoms configured in a loose form, and then the first one going into the second and separating the atoms in the second. By dependence on these factors, then to the ordinary eyes, knife cutting the bread originates. Dependent origination. Right? So therefore, the bread being cut by knife is also dependent originated. And then say the smell, right? Beautiful smell, suns, the fragrance. Oh, it's a beautiful smell. What is really the smell, right? Smell means you have the smell should actually touch your nose, and then you should smell it. In actuality, what? Your nose is made of millions of atoms, and the smell is also made of millions of atoms, right? And the atom of the smells fragrance do not even touch the atoms of the nose. They even do not touch, right? So, same the top part of the fragrance, which is also actually made of electrons, protons, and the top part surface of the nose, the atoms of the nose, they are also electrons, protons, and then they are quite close together, and so by depends on these factors, then the mental state, a pleasure is activated. Wow, it's a pleasant fragrance. In actuality, you don't even touch what is coming from outside. But depends on these factors, then a very pleasant feeling is triggered in your mind, right? So that is seen as, wow, it's a very beautiful fragrance. Likewise, all other things, they are like this. Simply by dependence on the factors, actually it is not really there. When you go to the object, it's not really there. But depends on these factors, then our mind imputes, our mind projects as a, say, with the knife cutting a bread, or say two people shaking hands, or two people talking, actually a bunch of atoms moving like this, bunch of atoms then moving there, and then that's it. Who is actually talking? Right? It's just a bunch of atoms moving. Atoms are busy. That's it. Right? So if you very serious thing like this, objectively nothing is really there. But then to our ordinary eyes, we see people as talking, people is enjoying, people is shouting. One kind of atoms moving we see this very aggressive. One kind of the atoms moving, oh, this is nice. They are talking very gently. Right? It's just illusion. Yeah. Oh yes, Elaine, this is Geshe-la. Mike?
Geshe-la, can you share with us how does a mother give birth to a baby when there's a pain in it?
Say it again. How does?
Yeah, in terms of dependent origination, how does the mother give birth to a baby using the atoms that you described?
Mother what?
A mother giving birth to a baby.
Give birth. Okay, again that's the same. The same, right? Say in the mother's the womb, mother's womb, right? Some atoms which usually don't happen to be there. It also happen to be there. The bunch of atoms happen to be there, and that continues to attract more atoms, which we see as the mother eating food. That get digested, they're sucked up by the blood, right? We call it the blood, but a bunch of atoms known as the blood. They absorb all these nutrients, and they are all passed down to that atom, bunch of atom there, which was usually not there, which is the fetus, right? Okay, then that keeps absorbing it, and then the collection of the atoms start growing, and it's just a collection of atoms. That's it, collection of atoms. And in our eyes, we say, oh, now the child is 1 week old, 10 weeks old. 12 weeks old, right? On the basis of the figure that we are seeing by our naked eyes, not on the atomic level. On the atomic, there's no difference actually. There's no difference. It's just again on the basis of atoms. Yeah. Okay, Rosalind.
Geshe-la, can you share because especially negative emotion like fear, which I know that a lot of us are actually living in fear, like fear of no income, fear of no boyfriend, no spouse, no children. So this fear is actually very intense to a lot of people. How do we meditate on the emptiness of this fear in our life?
Very good question. Okay, the second session, I will ask Rosalind to remind me. The second session, we will do the emptiness of the mind, right? Or we will do tomorrow. Emptiness of mind tomorrow morning. Rosalind, you remind me, right? With the emptiness of the mind, then you can do the emptiness. With the emptiness of the mind, if you know how to meditate on the emptiness of the mind, then you can extend it to the emptiness of the fear, emptiness of the anxiety, emptiness of tension. We can extend to all other. These are all mental states. The fear, anxiety, tension, all these things are mental states. So we have to learn how to meditate on emptiness of mind, and this you can extend to others. Yeah, so tomorrow morning. Yeah, very good. Okay, let me continue with what we're doing now. Okay, actually we were already where? Which stanza? Huh? Page 219. Okay, page 219. Let's continue to read this. 219 is read already. 21. Okay, yes, 219. Sorry, yes. Okay, 219. Let's continue reading this. By the guide in the view, the four mindfulnesses, His Holiness Kelsang Gyatso, the seventh Dalai Lama. Okay, let's read this together. At the crossroads of the six collections of consciousness that have diverse perceptions are seen the hazy dualistic phenomena which are baseless. There is a magical show that is by nature deceptive. Don't believe it to be true, but view it as having the nature of emptiness. Don't let your mind go astray, but place it in the nature of emptiness. Truth, not losing mindfulness, hold in the nature of appearance and emptiness. Okay. So there's another stanza. It is not here, but of course it is in this book. And we may not go to that, but I'll explain it here. Yes, there's another one here. Okay, so although we may have some experience of emptiness of the self, emptiness of the flower, emptiness of your mother, emptiness of this person, that person, and so forth, one at a time, right? And then if you keep meditating on the emptiness, for example, say emptiness of the flower, then emptiness of the cells, then emptiness of the chromosomes. Okay, how many of you seen that last time? The NASA company, how many of you seen that? How many of you not seen that? Okay, the Vinita, you must get the recording from Venla, right? Okay, those of you who have already seen that, still you get it from Venla. That is very helpful. Once in a while you watch that. The emphasis, in fact at that time I was thinking we're coming to explain this, but I could not. Okay, the idea is that I personally, how I use this is in two ways. One is the say, instead of the leaf, I use the flower. It's the same. You can apply this to the flower. The flower, then the flower, I go to the extent of the chromosomes. Did you see the chromosomes? What is the chromosome like? Beautiful X? Or what is that like? Very snake, brownish color snake, quite repulsive to look at, right? Okay. So what I do is that I go into this cells, the cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and then within nucleus go into the chromosomes. Okay. So up to chromosome, I stay there for a while. Now, at that point, I ask the two questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the chromosomes. Where is that beautiful flower? It's empty. Then I abide in the experience of the emptiness of the flower for a while. The flower is nothing, just mentally imputed on the basis of these components, the chromosomes, the cell membrane, and so forth. Beyond that, there's nothing. There's a flower, 100% content is one. Then go further. Even this chromosomes is made of millions of atoms, the electron, the molecules. And the molecules are made of atoms. And then again stay there. Now where is this chromosome? If this ugly chromosome, it also disappears. What I earlier saw as a very repulsive chromosome is also just illusion, it's total illusion, it's not really there. Stay there and sit on the emptiness of the chromosomes for a while. Then you go further. The atoms. Atom is also made of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Then when you go on that level, where's the atom? Even the atom disappears. Stay there. So now with the same object, I meditated on emptiness how many times? The flower, the chromosomes, atoms, 3. I meditate on the emptiness 3 times. You're getting it? Each time becoming subtler, subtler, subtler. Not the emptiness. Emptiness, there is no difference in subtlety. The basis of the emptiness, based on the initially was the flower, which was very gross. Then the chromosomes, much subtler than flower. Then the atoms, which are much subtler than the chromosomes, right? So this is how object becomes subtler, 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 while the emptiness does not become subtler. Then you go into the emptiness of the self, I, the person. I go into the self, the Dorji. Then you go to the level of the, the 6 elements. Earth, fire, water, air, space, consciousness, 6 elements. And stay there. Amongst the 6 elements, where is Dorji? Dorji, the space is empty. Stay there. Just with the 6 elements, our mind imputes Dorji. That's it. Beyond that, there's nothing there's Dorji from the object. Stay there. And then, each of the elements, for example, oftentimes I take the bones, the skeleton, right? Which is very scary. Very scary, but even that scary bone is made of bone cells. And none of the bone cell is scary to look at. None of the bone cell is beautiful to look at. It's neutral, right? So you go to that level and then ask them, where is that very scary bone? It is empty. Again, stay there. Then you go further. Even these bones are made of molecules and finally atoms. Same. Atoms. And on the atomic level, again, where is this? The bone cell. Again, that is the base is empty. It's just an illusion that our mind created. Then you go to the atom. So here, how many times? Emptiness of Dorji, emptiness of the emptiness of the elements, which means the bone. First the bone, then the emptiness of the bone cell, then the emptiness of the atoms. 4 times, right? 4 times. So we see that the gross one, subtler objects, we see the emptiness of all. Then slowly what can potentially happen is that from this, then experience can be very divergent, can be very evolving, right? And say at one point you may get a feeling that, okay, now from the object, whether it's this object, no, it doesn't matter. This object, from the object, nothing's really there. As though like you are thrown in the middle of the space. Middle of the space, you see around, you don't see anything. What is the center? What is the periphery? You don't see anything, right? You're thrown in the middle of the middle of the space, huge space. You don't see anything around, right? So like that, at one point you may get such a feeling that everywhere is just empty of objective existence, not with a specific object. Overall, this might be called as the pervasive emptiness. With the pervasive emptiness, then it could have tremendous power to overcome our afflictions, right? Overcome our afflictions and overcome our fears, right? And if you get it, if this experience, we get it, this experience, initially it could be very scary because we always need something to hold on to, right? When some ghost or something comes, you like to hide somewhere. You want a place to hide. Now you don't find any place to hide. Everything is just empty of objective existence. So it's very scary. And what is your experience? If somebody comes to, say, rob you, and then you are running, and then you end up in a place where it's totally vast desert, nowhere, not even a tree to hide behind. And the robber is chasing you. What's your feeling? Is more scary, or if there is a tiny house there, which of the two scenarios is more scary? Without anything, it's more scary. So therefore, to experience this vast, pervasive emptiness, initially it could be quite scary, right? Then slowly, the peace, tremendous bliss can replace this fear. The tranquility, your mind, physiologically, the turbulence within the body, which we are usually unaware of. Actually, it is already there because of the kindness of the self-grasping ignorance. the turbulence always there with us, and we are totally unaware of that. Only when you experience emptiness for the first time, then you can see this turbulence settles. Tremendous peace. This peace which we have never experienced before. Right? Okay, so let's read what the His Own Seventh Element wrote. Okay, we read it already, right? Okay, let's read this again. At the crossroads of the six collections of consciousness that have diverse perceptions are seen the hazy, dualistic phenomena which are baseless. There is a magical show that is by nature deceptive. Don't believe it to be true, but view it as having the nature of emptiness. Don't let your mind go astray, but place it in the nature of appearance emptiness. Through not losing mindfulness, hold it in the nature of appearance and emptiness. Okay. An extract from Praise for Proliferating the Dharma of the Land of Snows by Soren Forden Dalai Lama. There are two stanzas. The first is seeking blessings from the gurus, the lineage gurus, like Marpa Lotsawa. Number two, Shebe Toji. Shebe Toji is Jizmilaripa. Shebe Toji is Jizmilaripa. Shebe Toji and so on. The host of the precious Kagyu, the source of blessings, the chain of the unexcelled masters of the outstanding tradition. We all pray. Okay, let's read this. This is to seek blessings. So here, with folded hands, we fold our hands. Venerable Marpa Lotsawa, Shebe Dorji, and so on, the host of the precious Kagyu, the sources of blessings, the chain of the unexcelled masters of this outstanding tradition. To you all I pray, may the Buddha Dharma of the Land of Snows blaze forevermore. Now finally, after seeking these blessings from the lineage gurus, then this is composed by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Then the actual experience of emptiness is amazingly profound. So it first says that, like a dream, in the dream, you see all the diversity. Imagine that you dream of being in Manhattan. You dream of being in Manhattan, then you see all these skyscrapers, and not only skyscrapers, then you all see all the shops. Then you all see all the different people with different dresses, different cars, then the avenue, the street, right? All this you are seeing. And if somebody tells you, hey, you are dreaming. No, how can my mind possibly create all these details, right? And then if you look at the wall, you'll see the scratches, the linings, all this. No, my mind cannot create this infinite details. Impossible, right? Okay. So, tell me, if you are out of the dream and somebody in the dream was saying that this can't be my dream, tell me, if all these details, who created these details? Tell me. The mind of the dreaming person. The dreaming mind created all the details. You're getting it? So we see that first, when you wake up, you see that all the details will be seen that they are nothing but the play of the own mind. From the object, there's no detail at all, right? The dream. Besides the dream, all these details, what you saw, they were just non-existent. Yes, no? Besides the dream, all these details, however infinite details you might have dreamt, they are all just not really there from the object, independent of the dreaming mind. Right? They're all coming from this mind. So we see that everything what we are seeing now what we are seeing, waking up, we are in the unconventional dream. There are two dreams. One's a conventional dream and the other one's unconventional dream. Right? So only if you are able to wake up from both the dreams, then you are known as the fully awakened one. Right? So otherwise with ordinary beings we always wake up from the conventional dream. We never wake up from the unconventional dream. And the unconventional dream, we had it since when? Since time immemorial till now. And what created this unconventional dream? Self-grasping ignorance. Right? Okay. So with this, the unconventional dream, this is actually a dream. But in the conventional sense, we don't speak about this as a dream. We see this is a waking state. In actuality, this is another dream. And for one day, I remember my teacher, Venerable Geshe, the Geshe Pandit Thakur Muche, one of my teachers. I was escorting him during one of the a very three-day relaxed time for the monks after the monsoon retreat, 3-day relaxed time. There, they say a little bit of relaxed, no class, everything's more free. And then in the evenings, the monastery was showing the documentary films on His Holiness the Dalai and so forth. So I was escorting my teacher from his house to just during the evening for a walk. And then on the way, we could see that the television set was put outside where the monks were all there. Some of the monks were there watching the documentary film on His Holiness. And then my teacher, seeing this, he said, that is so powerful to me, that was so helpful. He said that this is the illusion within an illusion. Right? In the first way, we are already in illusion. Right? And he is a great philosopher, logician, and a practitioner. He said, Dorji, you see this television set? People are watching there? That is the illusion within illusion. Right? We are already in illusion. Whether we watch television, not watch television, we are already in illusion. What we are seeing is all just coming from our mind. And we're totally unaware of that. Illusion. Within this illusion, there's a grosser illusion there. A television set. Actually, it's just what? A flat screen on which all the light dots are hitting there, like this. And then it's so fast that we don't see this as a light hitting there. We see it as a movie there. Right? Actually, it's just dots there hitting the screen. That's it. Okay. So, likewise, same. All what we are now seeing, they're just like the second dream or an unconventional dream. Now, when you wake up, what happens? Whatever you dreamt will be dissolved into the mind. Then what is left? Only the mind is left. Now, even the mind has to be seen as the illusion-like, right? Seeing the object which appear to the mind as illusion by dissolving everything in the mind, and then you see the emptiness of mind also. So this is how it's explained here. Okay, let's read this. So this emptiness of the mind, which pervades to all the samsara and nirvana, this emptiness is known as the Mahamudra, the great Mahamudra. Okay, let's see. Venerable Marpa Lozawa, Shebe Doji, and so on, the host of the precious Gaiyu, the sources of blessings, the chain of the unexcelled masters of this outstanding tradition. To you all I pray that may the Buddha Dharma of the land of snows blaze forevermore. All phenomena and karmas in samsara and nirvana are but the radiance of spontaneous awareness. Awareness itself, devoid of elaborations, is realized in the nature of the Dharmakaya. Pervading all existences and appearance of samsara and nirvana is the great Mahamudra. May the Buddha Dharma of the land of snows blaze forevermore. Impermanent, suffering, and empty. These three, they purify the mind. The Dharma that is unsurpassed and purify the mind is the lack of intrinsic nature. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Okay, then now the last one, translation of a section of the Shri Heruka Sadhana. This is so precious. Okay, Shri Heruka, right? Shri Heruka is the holy name, the sacred name of one deity, which is the manifestation of the Buddha. Actually, it's the Buddha, or one of the deities, the manifestation of a Buddha. Actually, Buddha in Tantric tradition, Tantra. And look, how the Buddhas, they choose their names. Even the names they choose is for the benefit of sentient beings. Even just by this name, Shri Heruka, just this name, right? You recite it, you say this, and the tremendous insight into emptiness, tremendous insight into ultimate reality is presented to us in such a spontaneous way. How? Okay, let's say Shri Heruka, right? Four syllables. Shri Heruka form. Okay, now from there, let's say Shri, I'll explain the last. Heruka Shri. So this is how going to be explained. Okay. Hey. Okay, let's see. Sound of a clap. So this sound of a clap This sound of clap is symbolic. This sound of clap is symbolic of the miseries that we go through. This sound of clap necessarily comes into being by the combination of the two hands. You're getting it? So likewise, all the miseries arise, all the miseries in the world that we encounter with arise through the combination of your mind and the external world. Yes, no? In other words, all the miseries arise. Whose miseries? My misery. This is how we address, right? My misery. So the misery that we experience should necessarily come into being by the combination of the person, you as the person, and the objects as the phenomena, right? You're getting it, right? Whenever I see the flower, I have a headache. Or whenever I see the flower, I feel irritated. Somebody who doesn't like flower, right? So it is this I, when it comes in contact with the flower, is the object. Then the unhappiness comes. For some people, the I comes in contact with the flower, there's a joy coming, right? So it is through the combination when the subject in the form of the person. Now, subject can be spoken of in the context of mind and the context of the person. So here, the person and the phenomena with which the person interacts. Right? So when these two things interact, then the miseries, all these things arise. Okay, so for these miseries, what is the immediate cause of miseries? Hey, contaminated karmas. What are the immediate cause of contaminated karmas? Afflictions. Finally, and the afflictions, what are the cause of the afflictions? Inappropriate attention. What's the immediate cause of inappropriate attention? Self-grasping, ignorance. So finally we see that contaminated karmas are one thing. So these are nothing but a manifestation of your own afflictions. And afflictions are designed on the basis of self-grasping, ignorance. Inappropriate attention and self-grasping, ignorance. You're getting it? Okay, now what is being done here is so beautiful. Okay, so say the negative emotions, okay, when somebody has a self-grasping ignorance, would you say that, oh, this person is so evil? Would you say this? You will not say this. Only when the excessive greed, attachment, anger, jealousy, when the afflictions in a very intense form, the offshoots of the self-grasping ignorance, in intense form, when they arise, then we see that, oh, this person is quite scary. Hey, don't be too close to that person, right? So this is how we describe. So the emotions which drive the person unhappy, irritated, which drives all the negative actions. So these emotions of the attachment, anger, so forth, they are directed towards the external objects, the phenomena. And then who's having all these negative emotions? Is you, I, right? So these negative emotions, they're all directed towards the external objects. And these external objects, we come to know that these external objects, they're all somehow like a dream. Who dreams? The dreaming mind dreams. So when you wake up, they will all dissolve into the dreaming mind, right? So now we see that the dreaming mind is like the source of all phenomena, yes, no? Dreaming mind is the source of all the dream contents. You agree with me? Likewise, we see that everything is what a mind imputes. Everything is what a mind projected by the mind. All the wonderful things happening in the movie, they're all projected from where? Projected behind you, right? So the projector is responsible for creating all the whatever wonderful things that you see in the movie. Likewise, whatever objects that we are interacting with, they're all just coming from where? From the projector-like mind. First, everything dissolves into the mind. So mind becomes the source of all other phenomena. Yes, no? From this point of view. If that is the case, then we see how to see the emptiness of all other phenomena, one of which is to see the emptiness of the mind. If you stop the projector, all the movies coming here will stop. If you stop the projector, all the details of the movies coming on the screen will stop. You agree with me now? Likewise, if you see the emptiness of the mind, then you see the emptiness of all the phenomena projected by the mind. One. So with this, what happens is that we are able to, of the two hands, external objects and I, right? I interact with the objects, the phenomena, then my miseries arise, right? Okay, this hand example, there are so many kinds. Now what I'm relating to here is the two hands. One is the external phenomena and the other hand is I. When these two interact, then the miseries arise. So first we see the emptiness of the phenomena. To see the emptiness of the phenomena, how was it dealt with here? By seeing the emptiness of the mind, because mind is the source of all phenomena, right? If you stop the projector, all the movie stops. If you see the emptiness of the projector, you see the emptiness of the movie that you're watching. Likewise, if you see the emptiness of the mind, then you see the emptiness of all of the phenomena. One. Now, other one is, then, who is that person who is experiencing all the miseries? I. Then you see the emptiness of the I. You're getting it? Now what happens? Phenomena dissolves in emptiness, I dissolve into emptiness. What happens? Now where is the two? Earlier there were two hands, right? Now this hand dissolve, this hand dissolve. What is left? Nothing is left, non-dual. Right? Experience non-dual. Okay. Now who experiences non-dual? Who experiences non-dual? The wisdom of non-duality experiences non-dual. Even the wisdom of emptiness, which experiences non-dual, even that is also empty. You're getting it? Okay. Amazing. Let's see. Okay. I'll say the first one is the emptiness of the phenomena, selflessness of phenomena, meaning that all phenomena which the person is interacting, they're all empty because the source of that is empty. What is the source of all these phenomena? The mind. The mind is empty. Emptiness of the mind. From this, you see the emptiness of the phenomena. Other one is, one of the two hands now, the phenomena, emptiness of the phenomena already dissolved because because of the mind, emptiness of, you see the emptiness of the mind. Now the other side, what is the other side? What is the other side? Hey, I, the person. The person. Even the person is also empty of objective. Even that is also dreamlike. The person. It's also dreamlike. The person dissolves. The selflessness of person. Now what is left? Of the two hands, what is left? Nothing is left there. There's no two. Earlier there were two. Now the two dissolves. Dissolving two is known as what is two? Dual. What is two? Two is known as dual. Duality. Dual. When the two dissolves, what do you call it? Non-dual. Now you see that there's the vast non-duality there. Vast experience of very expansive experience of non-duality is there. Who's experienced this? Who's experienced this the non-duality? Vast non-duality. The non-dual wisdom. The non-dual wisdom is experiencing this non-duality. Now even this non-dual wisdom, even that is also empty. You getting it? So first you get emptiness of the phenomena. Then you see the emptiness of the self. Then you see the non-duality. Amazing. Right? Initially you have a tinge of goosebumps there. Right? And then the self dissolves. Another goosebumps come in your body, emptiness. Then you see the non-duality. Even that is even more profound. Goosebumps come in your body. Then who experiences this mind non-dual wisdom? Even that is also empty. Then it becomes even more intense. The goosebump intensifies. Right? There, the experience of emptiness becoming deeper, deeper, and deeper. Right? This is very profound. This is how even the Buddhas, they choose their names to implant such a deep imprint of emptiness in the mind. Okay, with this, now let me quickly go through this. Okay, let us not look at it now. Okay. Shiri Heruka. Right? Okay. Shiri, we will keep the last. Heruka Shiri. Okay. Hey, emptiness of the same, the selflessness, emptiness in a loose sense is synonymous. First same, the phenomena and the I, the person, these two interact. So phenomena, the selflessness of phenomena. Then that is indicated by hey. Then the Ru symbolizes the selflessness of the person. Right? Ka symbolizes the non-duality. Then what? Shri. Right? Ru, He, Ru, Ka, Shri. Shri is the emptiness of the non-dual wisdom. You getting it? Okay, let's say. What's the He? He is the selflessness of phenomena. Okay, Ru is the selflessness of person. Ka is the non-duality of subject and object. Shri is the emptiness of the non-dual wisdom. Okay, let's say this again together. Okay. Ru, we begin from He. He is the selflessness of phenomena. Ru is the selflessness of person. Ka is the non-duality of the subject and object. Shri is the emptiness of the non-dual wisdom. Right? Okay, let's say this again. He is the selflessness of phenomena. Ru is the selflessness of person. Ka is the non-duality of the subject and object. Shri is the emptiness of the non-dual wisdom. Right? Good, you got it. Amazing. Okay. So with this, what we do is that, so this is again a part of my meditation on emptiness. So this can be your part of meditation on emptiness as well. So what we do is that, so when I come to this point, I fold my hands. Okay, let's fold our hands and say this, the holy name of the Buddha Shri Heruka 3 times. Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka, Shri Heruka. He is the selflessness of phenomena. The mind that is the source of everything is empty of true existence, as it is imputed to be of causal nature. Ru is the selflessness of person, the emptiness of the self that is fabricated by the web of conceptual thought that grasps at the self of person. Ka is the ultimate reality, the absence of the dissonant duality of the subject and object. Shri is the non-dual exalted wisdom that abides in congruence with the emptiness of the object. This is the meaning of Evam. Okay. Yes.
Under the He, it says that the mind is also imputed to be of causal nature.
Exactly.
So,
okay, that's a good question. Okay. So all the phenomena, they are imputed by our mind. So the mind becomes the source of all other phenomena. Now the text here, He, under the He, this even mind, which is the source of all phenomena, is also imputed. So the next question is, what imputes this mind? Okay, anyone? Okay, to be very quick. The first moment of the mind can be imputed by the second moment of the mind. Right? And today's mind can impute last year's mind. And today's mind can impute next year's mind. It is not necessary that even, or it is only the next moment that imputes the earlier moments. It's not necessary. Even the earlier moments can impute the later minds as well. For example, today we can think of tomorrow's mind. I'm wondering tomorrow whether my mind will be happy or unhappy. When you say this, we're imputing tomorrow's mind. Well, last year it was a very terrible time. I did not have a Jambi retreat, right? So therefore, last year my mind was not in good shape. My mind. So last year's mind is imputed by today's mind. Oh, next year we are going to have a retreat in Malaysia, right? Oh, that's going to be equally good as the Jambi. So mine will be in proper shape. So I impute the next year's mind now. Today's mind can impute next year's mind, next life's mind. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yes.
Geshe-la, what is the difference between selflessness and emptiness?
Okay, this is a good
Especially,
question.
You know, in everything's nature of emptiness and selflessness and a difference of some point and self.
Very good. Okay. The question is, what is the difference between selflessness and emptiness? Particularly pertaining to the third seal of the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha taught that everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Two words are used. Not that everything is the nature of emptiness or selflessness, not or. It said and, right? Okay, so what's the difference between selflessness and emptiness? Tea break. Tea. Oh, yes.
Okay, the Sri over here says that it's a non-dual exalted wisdom. But just now, when you translate it, you mentioned it's the emptiness of non-dual wisdom. So which is which?
Okay, so which one? Shri. Page 21. Okay, 221. Shri is the non-dual exalted wisdom that abides in congruence. Congruence, this is the key. Congruence meaning that who experiences this non-duality is this the non-dual wisdom. That non-dual wisdom is congruence, is in congruence, meaning it is of the nature of emptiness, is in congruence with the emptiness of the object, meaning that what is the object now? Object is the non-duality. That becomes the object, not the object in other sense. Because this we have to go in progression. Selflessness of phenomena, selflessness of person. Number 3, the non-duality. Now that becomes the object. Now who experiences that is a non-dual wisdom. That non-dual wisdom is in congruence with that object. What is that? Non-duality. Non-duality wisdom is in congruence with non-duality. Meaning the non-dual wisdom itself is non-dual in the form of emptiness. So non-dual wisdom is empty. So that is indicated by Shri. Yeah. And this word evam, amazing tradition. Evam, right? Evam, if you go to Sanskrit expert, they will say it's nothing. Evam, what is evam? Evam is nothing. Evam means thus. Okay. Because he said it like this, thus I did it like this, thus. As simple as that. This is how the linguist, Sanskrit experts will understand it. But it is way, 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 way beyond that. Evam. Right? All the profound experiences of the Tantra, not just the popular Tantra, forget about the popular Tantra. Right? The real Tantra, which you understand, it'll make you shed tears out of amazement. Right? The popular Tantra has no clue of that. Just forget that. Right? The real Tantra, just a mere glimpse, you'll be just lost in admiration and amazingly profound. You will have your goosebumps in the body. Right? So all these profound concepts, they're all subsumed under these two, the syllables, evam, right? Okay, so you want to hear more? HYT. Okay. So this the Yen should remind me your question. Emptiness, substance, a tea break, and we'll come back. Remind me. Okay, but when will we have the next session? 11:30. Okay, 11:30.